Ready to rock. So welcome everybody to our FCL Staff Room chat. Today is Wednesday, and so we're focusing on Wellness Wednesdays and just checking in to make sure that everybody's looking after themselves and prioritizing their own well-being as they continue to prioritize the well-being of their students and their the members of their community that they're serving. So really excited that we have our favorite well-being partner on the call with us. The We organization, who we've partnered with to support educators and students in terms of accessing resources that are important in terms of the whole, like I mentioned before, the whole well-being aspect. So social emotional learning and looking after the connections and the community outreach for educators so they can really access the creativity and the inspiration and the energy and enthusiasm of the students. And so when you think of we, obviously you think of energy and enthusiasm and doing good doable. So it's an amazing opportunity for us to have Carrie Patterson here, Chief Operating Officer, I think is the right name for we. She'll just correct me if it's not. And Amber as well to take us through what we looks like in this remote learning reality. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Carrie, and let me know if you want me to start your presentation.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you, Martha. Hi, everyone, and good morning. So excited to be joining with all of these amazing backgrounds to talk about well-being, Martha. I'm already in a good mood as I'm sitting here thinking I'm in the Minecraft world and see balloons and mountains and beaches. So a really cool new feature of Microsoft Teams. So my well-being has started off well. So thank you to all of you guys. And what better way to start a morning than with a group of educators and people that care so much about our own well-being and our students' well-being and how to be successful during the new realities that we're faced with today. So let me start, and you're pretty close on my title, Martha, so we'll go with it because you actually promoted me. So if you want to go to the next slide, I love a good promotion. Chief Operations Director, it's basically the same thing. And then I'm joined by my colleague Amber today. So the two of us will have a conversation with you, let you know exactly how we has pivoted to a at-home strategy, but also open this up to discussion and questions. So if you guys have comments or questions along the way, please just add them to the chat and we'll make sure that we do address them. But the very next slide is my favorite slide because, yes, thank you, Martha. So we are in partnership with Fair Chance Learning in a number of different ways, and I would say, and another reason why I'm in a good mood because I get to spend my morning with people, folks from Fair Chance Learning. So we have been partners now for a while, but we have many different partnerships, I would say, but and you're going to hear about them. But a couple of ones that we've done in the past year that I've been really excited about is what we've been doing alongside Microsoft with our Transform Ed and traveling across the country. Obviously, we're not doing that now, and we're looking at the virtual Transform Ed, but how they've positioned us and allowed us to come talk about social emotional learning and the great work of We Schools. But formally, we created a partnership now. I don't know, it feels like a while ago, but we've done so much in a short period of time, and we're going to talk to you guys about it. But it's our We Schools Hub. So it's a teacher portal, and I know you're like, oh my God, another place I'm going to have to sign up. But it's a great spot to go because we have so many cool resources on there, which we'll talk about. We have training, and we really looked at Fair Chance Learning to help us create it because what we does well is we engage teachers and we certainly engage our students and that's what we've been doing well for years, where we have over 2 million now Canadian students active in the We Schools program. But what we don't have as well is the online learning journey. And so we look to Fair Chance Learning to be our online learning partner and expertise. And so we'll show you guys some screenshots later, but we do have what we call a We Teachers Hub, and soon to have, and sorry, Amber, if I'm stealing your thunder, but we're soon focused on trauma-informed classrooms and practice. And when we originally put together the modules that we were going to put on trauma-informed, we never brainstormed pandemic. Imagine that. We brainstormed violence and bullying and mental health issues and diversity and immigration and all of these other things that our students are faced with. Never once a year ago, when we were really looking at traumas that our students were facing, did we actually brainstorm or even think about pandemic, and now it's part of our roster. So thank you, Fair Chance Learning, for allowing us to be here, but our partnership, we're friends, we're family, and we just like to partner with you guys as much as possible because we're doing great things. Yes, exactly. Your balloons, thank you. But it's all about our students and our students' well-being and students first and through our educators. So thank you, everyone, for giving me this space to chat. So how has we pivoted during this time? So as you guys know, we work with many educators globally now, and we couldn't just sit here and not do anything. So we created a new program. It's not really a new program, it's just a way of us curating what we already have in an online distance learning program called We Schools at Home. So really supporting student learning at home. I'm going to go high level, and then Amber's going to go into a little bit more detail. So next slide. And what this looks like is we have a series of different products and programs that teachers, students, or families could actually participate in. We're going to talk about We Schools Live, which is a daily show that we're doing on Facebook. It's kind of like mini We Days, so really about inspiration. We have different toolkits online, from COVID-19 toolkit to discussion cards to social emotional learning toolkit. And we also have daily virtual lessons, which we'll talk about in just a second. So next slide. And if you're not one of our teachers and you'd love to see that 4-pager, just let us know and we'll send it out to you guys through Fair Chance Learning so you can see it. So we have this amazing new thing on Facebook Live. So as you guys know, when we realized that teaching now is out of people's homes, we realized no more live events. We Day is one of our largest, biggest events. We unfortunately had to let go of some of our We Day members. However, we did hold on to some of them, and what we did was we created a really cool, vibrant 1-hour show every day from 1 to 2 on Facebook, which is Eastern Standard Time. If you want to go to the next slide, I'll kind of give you guys some highlights. So we've really learned to adapt it over the past few weeks. We're into week 4. But every day is a new theme. So Monday is around social emotional learning. Tuesday, we feature a teacher in one of their lessons that they're doing in the classroom. Wednesday is called Wellness Wednesday, like today, and it's really around your physical well-being and taking care of your, and Amber can talk more about it because she does some of our lessons. But that's our theme on Wednesday. Thursday is about take action. So going back to the roots of We Schools and ensuring that our students still know how to take action from home. And then Friday, we have lots of fun, different things on Friday. So sneak peek on Friday, guys. It's going to be all around volunteerism. And today, no one knows this because we haven't actually released this yet. So you guys are the first to know. But today we are filming Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad, Malcolm in the Middle. And his sister, Dr. Amy Cranston, if you don't know her, she actually writes a book on social emotional learning environments. And so we're going to do an interview with Spencer West with the two of them, where she talks about social emotional learning and the connection to volunteering. And he's talking about how he's giving back during the COVID-19 time. So it's going to be a great little segment on Friday. Yesterday, though, I don't know his name, but we had, if you can see the screenshot, I'm pointing at it like you guys can, like we're in the same room, but that is the new McDreamy on Grey's Anatomy. We did an interview with him yesterday, and Monique Coleman, who was in High School Musical, she was our host. And so we're really trying to figure out how to engage audience. They weren't in the same room. We were actually producing this from our We Days like condo downtown Toronto, trying to really understand how to produce good segments. And we're really focused on how to, like an hour show where a family can just push play for their student, or they can watch it with their students. So that's really exciting. So that's one product, and we're calling that kind of like our hero product kind of during our We Schools at Home. The one new thing we created, because we're really trying to curate what we've already done. Next slide, please. And then we also have welcome to your daily virtual lesson. So every week We will be producing 20 lessons. They'll go on our website and you can sign up for them. And what they really are, again, back to those themes and certified teachers. So this is Nicole. She is a science teacher and she is doing Tuesdays where she'll be doing STEM classes, K to 3, 4 to 6, 7 and 8, and 9 to 12. So we're really dividing it up. Again, what we're trying to do is we're not trying to be a replacement to what you guys as teachers are doing. We're trying to be supplementary and complementary. So we know that it's a lot to fill up a day at home remotely. So how can you use our resources or some of the stuff that we're doing as complementary to what you're already doing with your students or what parents are already doing for homeschooling with you guys. So we're just trying to figure out how we can be supplemental. Next slide, please. And then Amber's going to talk about this. I don't know. Oh, there, it's clear now. But this is what we've been creating with Fair Chance Learning. It's our teacher community. We have this amazing WeSchools hub where you can get all of our live shows. So if you missed yesterday and you watched Grey's Anatomy and really like the new McDreamy, and I don't even know his name, his real name, which is so bad. I just know he's the one that's narrative now on Grey's Anatomy. But the point is, it's all going to be housed on this hub. We'll have weekly communication so you know what's new on the hub as well as what's new in WeSchools. Like I said, we have trauma-informed resources already on it with an intro to trauma-informed classroom, which I completely recommend this module in this course right now, and because especially more than ever in the times that we're being faced with. But prior to this, this is how good the course is, and this is how good the actual programming. We partnered with Mental Health America to create it, and then partnered with Fair Chance Learning to create the course. But we had an entire district, 4,600 people take the course or do a training on it out of Alabama. And the superintendent and director of education for this district had all their custodial staff take it, all of their administration staff take it, every single principal and every single educator, just to ensure that everyone was consistent on what trauma-informed even meant, consistent on definition. So it's a really good resource, and you guys can come and take on the course on our hub. We will host the virtual lessons with the curricular connections because there are teachers doing these courses for us. We have our new pandemic resource, which will be ready end of week. And then all of our library of WeSchools resources is on the community. And it's beautiful. Thank you to Titus, who's on the call, and everybody else at Fair Chance Learning, because we've been working hard at pulling this together for all of our educators. And next slide before I pass over to Amber to go into a few things deeper. The one thing I want to end in my part of this is what is amazing about WeSchools and the educators and the students that we work with. We're at home and the DNA, or they're still wanting to complete their service learning or do new projects, pivot what they're doing. And we had a teacher just write us about their students on, and that's why you have the different colors, but they created 75, they actually made 75 masks and donated it to a local hospital. And the teacher wanted us to know and was just so proud of this act of, service. And other things that we're finding our kids are doing are writing letters to paramedics, frontline workers, to the hospitals. So there's still service and things you can do to contribute. And that's what Friday's Facebook Live show is all about, is really about how you can continue to do good from your own home and combine with wellness. We know that, and there's so many research papers out there, but we know that when you give back, that your well-being improves. So how do we continue to put well-being first while we're all at home and still give our students and our kids these opportunities to give back in support of their own well-being and then the well-being of others, of course. And so that is my just kind of high level. Amber, if I stole your thunder on some of the stuff, you can just kind of breeze over it, but I'm going to pass it over to Amber, who is a teacher of, works with us, is a teacher of ours, and is actually working extremely hard on our virtual daily lessons. She's a physical education teacher herself and is working extremely hard with our WeSchools at home and the We Teachers Hub with Fair Chance Learning. So over to you.
Before you pass her,
yeah,
because I know we only have you till 10 this morning. So I wanted to say, Carrie, like, I think it's unbelievable, and you really identified what is missing in terms of opportunities for our students to engage, because we've had this conversation through our staff chats where we said there's this, like I started, the energy, enthusiasm, creativity, commitment to community of the high school students that are sitting at home and feeling, what do I do? Like, how do I connect with my community? How do I connect with my peers? And so the fact that you've been able to model for students how to continue service learning, I would say that the risk that we have right now is, if students think that this way to engage in learning is just this online experience and it's not the service learning, that the well-being is, the feedback we're getting from students being overwhelmed, parents being overwhelmed, teachers being overwhelmed. And so bringing it back to that connection is so important. And then the volunteer aspect too, like, yeah, we want to, and that was the first thing that we talked about when we had our first staff chat. We said, we want to feel that our work is valuable, that our contributions matter, right? How can we structure it so our contributions matter? Because everybody is putting in a lot of thinking power and time and energy into thinking about, what does this online learning, remote learning look like? But what we really want to know is that the message that's being received is, I care about you, you matter to me, I want to make a difference, I believe we're part of the larger community. And so, knowing that that's a resource that's just consistent on Thursdays is incredible, and it's something that we will definitely amplify. And then the volunteer aspect of, just giving ideas, like knowing that as a parent I can tune in, I think it'll be so satisfying as a family to know ways we can give back, because we want to contribute as a family.
And for everyone on the call, if you do tune into Facebook Live or go and use our virtual lessons, we don't have this perfect. We're learning like everyone else right now. So we'd love to hear your feedback. And that's one thing I ask, because this is like a great focus group, even on the hub, right, Martha and Titus? Like when you guys go on the hub, like the more feedback and engagement we can get from you, that's how we can be better. So please tune in if you can. And back to the well-being, is I really agree, is like we have to be giving these opportunities. And I have the opportunity to be on a phone call with Dr. Kim Schonert-Reichel and Dr. Molly Lawler and a bunch of well-being experts and doctors and researchers. And I was asking them, like, what's the number one thing? And they're like, well-being. I said, even for high school when it's so content heavy? And they said, yes, like if we don't put well-being as our number one thing, then content's never going to happen, right? So because you can't actually absorb content if you are sitting there in a stressful world and anxiety and fear and afraid and all of these things. And so they're all saying from K to 12, number one is well-being. And then depending on where they are in age, content may be second to a high school, where if you're in K to 3, content, whatever, like just get them through the week feeling good and inspired, you know what I mean? And take care of their well-being. But speaking of high school and service learning, is we have a partnership with College Board in the US, and we've been on the call with them, and we have a service learning aspect to some of their courses, and they're continuing the service learning for their students, because the students that started in the year, they get a service learning designation on their transcript. And Trevor, who's the senior VP of College Board, said, I do not want any student that started a service project to not end with one, because that service learning designation is so important to those students when applying to post-secondary education. So we're really championing anybody that started service to complete it and finish it, because you know what, that's going to be something you're going to look back on whenever this is over and say, you know what, in the year that I was at home and did my, learning. I also had these opportunities to do these things for my own well-being, and hopefully we learn from this and we come out stronger. And I mean, we're never going to be the same. So the only thing we can do is come out stronger and learn from this time. So yeah, any questions before I pass it over to Amber for me specifically on we as an organization or as a whole, or well-being? The other thing I'll say, and Amber's going to go into it, and I saw Jeff put in the chat, Dr. Kim and Dr. Molly are well-being advisors from UBC. They are, and they are currently, we actually have our amazing We Wellbeing program that is going to be on the We Teachers Hub as well. We've taken their activity cards around positive human qualities, optimal mental health, and understanding the brain. They're also on the website. They're very good activity cards you could give to a parent and have discussion at the dinner table around gratitude, empathy, compassion as your positive human qualities. Then we have a group of activity cards around optimal mental health, which and this comes from Dr. Stan Kutcher, who's now a senator, as you guys know, in Canada. He actually dumbs it down, even though he does mental health literacy. He says optimal mental health is not for like anybody can do it. It's sleep, nutrition, exercise, positive relationships, and helping others. We can do all of those things from our home. We're connecting right now as humans, right? So how do we ensure our students are also connecting with their clubs, with their friends, because it's healthy relationships and connections are still so important. And then helping others is the fifth one. And we have activity cards on that, on how you can do that. So we've transitioned them to be more like at home, but you as a teacher could do a virtual session with your students, or you could just give them to your parents, and parents could be having better conversations around the meal times, or keep them busy for an hour during the day to, explore the activity cards. So there's lots of fun resources like that. And I know you guys are, as teachers, are overwhelmed right now with the amount of information you're getting from people like We Schools or Edmodo or Schoology or Edsby, all of these different, Microsoft, there's so much coming at you. So right. Please know it. I'm not trying to sell. I'm only trying to say it's here. And if you have questions or need help, Fair Chance Learning can certainly support you, because they know our programs really well, as can, of course, I can. But it's not about that. It's really about how we can complement and supplement what you're doing. And that's all we're trying to do, because everything we do obviously is free. And that's the most important for us, is to just support our teachers that we've been working with, some for 20 years and some for a month, right? So
I remember when you talked about Transform Ed Summit, and I remember when we started that partnership, and I posted, I said, never in my life would I think that Fair Chance Learning would have the opportunity to partner with Microsoft and we together on something so important. And that partnership was a milestone moment in Fair Chance Learning's history, because what you stand for, what you inspire in terms of the educators and motivation of the students, and the energy that is we, whether it's Carrie Patterson or Amber or Mark or Craig or Jeff or everybody that we've ever interacted, has this energy and commitment and deep understanding to the well-being aspect. So we're so thankful for the partnership and the work that you're doing. And in terms of the wellness moment, before I turn it over to Amber, yesterday I got our first e-blast from the school. And I'm scrolling through, and at the bottom they're like, and finally, we'd like to recognize the students who haven't heard their names on the morning announcements for their birthdays, and for the people who are celebrating this week. And I just started to bawl. I was like, this matters so much to students. They get to hear their names. It's just their first name, but just even hearing it on the announcements, these are the things that matter to the students, right? And it happens to be our son's birthday this week, and so I let him read that part, and his face just lit up, and I was like, yes, this is the community aspect, that the healthy, positive relationships is so important. So thank you for reminding us of that, and for being here with us, because you matter to us for sure.
Oh, that's so, I 100% individual recognition for students is so important. We can't forget about that during that time. So I'm glad that your son got his name read on the newsletter. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Okay, so
any other questions? Thanks, Jeff. He's been very active over there, so I appreciate
showing off his team skills. He's like, what do you need?
But please know, a Fair Chance Learning, you can reach out to them, and they have everything that we do. But if you need anything at all, Amber and myself are available as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Amber, I'm sorry if I stole a lot of your thunder and the stuff, but you know me, I just like to, it's just what I do.
That's okay. You're celebrating us too, so that's good. Thank you, Carrie.
Oh, nice balloons.
The funny thing is that
balloons back.
we both saw that the backgrounds were available today, and Amber and I came on first, and we both had the balloon background. So it just shows you how much we like to party.
Oh, hold up. So we are doing it as a different note. We are going to have curriculum attached to Minecraft released in the next 1 to 2 weeks. I don't know if Amber, you're talking about that. That's why I picked Minecraft. And we are focusing on health right now with the global pandemic. We thought health was the right way. And so, as you know, we have wee villages in Kenya and Ecuador, and we've actually stacked our hospital and our health center in both those countries with oxygen and all sorts of things to get ready for the COVID-19, because we know it'll be impacting those third world countries. But we actually take one of our villages and do the health pillar attached to curriculum. So when that gets released, maybe we'll have to come back on to one of the staff to go through it with you guys, because we're absolutely excited about it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Great. Over to you, Amber.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay, Martha, we're kind of going to dive into what Carrie talked about in a little bit more detail. So you feel free to flip to the next 2 slides. There's just our We Schools at Home header. But what we're just kind of breaking down how it looks for students versus how it looks for teachers in terms of We Schools at Home. Carrie did talk about issue cards. There's also issue cards that are still available online through our We Schools kit. Looks at issues like bullying, like volunteering, so that we can keep those service learning components of the We Schools program still kind of at the forefront, and knowing that students can still take action in this time. And if you do have a good story about a student you know that has taken action, or an initiative that was taken by the school, please do send it to us, because we do like to highlight them through our We Schools Live. We do have like a good news story of the day, which is amazing. That brings us to We Schools Live. And like Carrie said, I think yesterday was the best episode we've had yet. We had the Celebrity Marauders that opened the We Schools Live segment. So Cardi was there, and we had a big dance party for 10 minutes.
Wow.
Except we didn't know if he didn't know if he was talking to teachers and it was his first time doing a virtual thing, teachers or students. So it was kind of really funny to watch yesterday. So it'll get better, because like we're all learning this together, and he didn't know when he was going off or on. It was really fun, is what I was going to say. So that's the other thing. We're all learning.
I love the risk taking and the leading and the courage. That's what we need right now, right? I say it all the time, that we have no dress rehearsal. You gotta do the best you can and keep, like you said, learning and producing and refining, and I totally.
You know what? And sorry, quickly, Amber, I'll let you keep going.
Go
there
ahead.
is no dress rehearsal. That's a line from one of the hip songs.
Oh,
So
I know.
there you go. Yeah. So I love it. It's actually a quote we have up in my house.
Because you're ahead by a century, Carrie.
Yeah. Exactly. Love it.
Oh my
Love
goodness.
it. Okay.
So those are the We Schools Live. He's back today, so join us at 1 o'clock Eastern time to see a little dance party with Cardi at 1. It rhymes. FCL resources we chatted about. COVID-19 response resources, we'll just show you where they live on our website in the next slide. And then our daily virtual lessons, which I'll break into. We Wellbeing, I know that Jeff dove into this a couple weeks ago. If you go to the next slide, Martha. So we have our We Wellbeing playbook, which is accessible by chapter, if you see there on the left side of your screen. So please feel free to browse through that. It has so many good activities and ideas and dinner table conversations that you can have with your students, with your family. And then on the right, we have the issues cards that Carrie talked about. And then there will also be the COVID-19 resource download that's there as well. If you go on, it will just show you kind of what they look like, what our well-being resources look like. This is one of the chapters right out of the well-being playbook. So talking about getting sleep, which Jeff also talked about in one of our issues.
My 11-month-old can read it.
What?
My baby. Just to get her sleeping.
Oh, I see.
I mean, she's
Gotcha.
smart, but.
Oh gosh. And then the next couple slides, if you go through the next one, looks at our We Schools Kit actual issue card. So if you go down to the next one as well, just wanting to show you that we still are talking about local issues in the classroom. We're talking about global issues, like Carrie said, tying things like Minecraft to our biggest global issue right now, which is access to healthcare. So what someone asked here, Barb asked if we can get FCL on board when Minecraft launches. Absolutely, 100%. And then We Schools Live, which is really exciting. If you go down to the next one, we, again, like we had talked about, Mindful Mondays, Teacher Tuesdays. Today is a Wellness Wednesday, so we do a little bit of a overview of COVID-19, a little, let's call it State of the Union, but then what can we do? I mean, the news is really overwhelming. I know that in the first couple weeks when I came home and was working from home, it was like the CP24 was on in the background, and that only lasted about 2 days because then it was overwhelming. So talking a little bit about it and, you know, bringing it to the forefront. I think yesterday they just declared that May 4th, students won't be going back to school. They didn't really give a date about what they thought. They hadn't canceled the school year, but so taking a look at things like that and what we can continue to do to bring a positive mindset forward. Take Action Thursdays is really fun. Last week we baked banana bread on Take Action Thursday. We talked about how you can still host a bake sale at home and take part in math through baking. So that was a really fun initiative. And then Feature Fridays, which are also really unique. Kind of a big surprise. So if you, this is kind of a big calendar overview, just a sample of maybe what's to come. We're still talking about our campaigns on Thursdays. We Are Silent, We Volunteer Now, and We Are One are the next ones that are coming up in the next 3 weeks. So definitely tune in at 1 o'clock. And if you miss them, they're also recorded. So you can go back and play them as well on the We Movement Facebook page. If we go down to the next one, this is the exciting introductory module to We School. So this was the very, very first module that we put out for a trauma-informed classroom. And now we know that trauma might look a little bit different from what we thought trauma looked like before. I mean, it's still trauma when we talk about violence, when we talk about natural disaster, when we talk about neglect or lack of food, like food security. So those are all traumas that we know that students face in the classroom, but now we're looking at trauma like at home through this pandemic. So what does that look like? So you're going to get a sneak peek in a minute of what the next newest module looks like. And then something that we're rolling out, which is really exciting, the next slide is calling all teachers on Thursdays at 3. We are doing teacher webinars on Thursdays at 3, and last week we had a really exciting one with Bushra, who brought us to what remote learning looks like. Just kind of a high level on what we are doing, again, very similar to what we are bringing with you today. But next week, she wanted to let you know that next week will be how can we connect with our children at home on a very emotional level. We know that they're really experiencing everything that we are, but they may not know how to cope, and you may not know what they need. So we're bringing on a special guest. This is next week to look at how we can really connect with our students, and if we have children at home, how we can connect with them on a very emotional level, and how we can help them deal with their emotions. So Thursdays at 3, and it's on Teams too, so you don't have to download any new software, which is exciting. But we'll make sure that at the end of this, I do send Martha those 4 pages and the links to sign up for these as well, so you can get reminders.
Woo!
Woohoo! I know, it's another exciting thing. And so these are what the webinars will look like. Anything from tools for remote learning, which we did last week, to helping students find balance, to your own self-care, privacy settings, that's a good one. Guest speakers on technology and well-being, and subject matter experts. So if there's something that you would like to do, or you would like to see, or you know an expert, let us know in the chat. Email Martha and she'll email us and let us know if there's an expert that you would like to see, and we will, or that you saw in the past and you would like us to bring back. We're excited for that. And then if you scroll down the next slide, this is what we're really excited about, is our daily virtual lessons featuring me on Wednesdays, which is really exciting. So Mondays is social emotional learning with our teacher and our friend Kayla. Kayla was all over the well-being program, so she's going to give us tips and tricks and all sorts of lessons for social emotional learning on Mondays. We're going to look at STEM Tuesdays, so anything to do with science is on Tuesdays. So this week was Why Does Matter Matter? Nicole is all about the puns, so she has some really fun lessons. And then we're going to do well-being through physical activity with me on Wednesdays. And I added a little daily physical activity for that K to 8 group. I did my own like DPA, so it was really good. I was exhausted and my quads hurt the next day, so I need to get back in shape. And then Thursdays is Take Action Thursdays with Mark Q. And if you've had the experience or seen Mark Q as one of our motivational speakers in your school or on a stage, he's amazing. So he's going to talk to us about how we can continue to take action through COVID-19. And then Fridays, again, we do Feature Fridays. And this Friday, our good friend Amanda Wand, who is a professional abstract artist, is going to actually walk you through a 20-minute activity that your students can do at home on their own with art, which is really fun. And then you don't have to have paint. You can have markers if you don't want to make a mess.
Good.
If you scroll through to the next slide, that one's fine. So the next slide is what is happening this week. If you go through, those were our teasers, but this is what's happening this week. There you go. STEM and social entrepreneurship. So if you're looking for something for your grade 9 to 12s on Tuesdays, it's actually going to be all about social entrepreneurship. So if you're looking for something in your classroom, we also have curriculum for social entrepreneurship. And if maybe it's a good time for a grade 9 to 12 student to think about a business venture, something that they want to do to help, change the world where we kind of get back to what our new normal is going to look like. So that's really, really, forward thinking, and there's a lot of really good resources. And then Wednesday, Thursday, this Friday is art, which is exciting. And then if you scroll to the next slide, we're actually doing all of the lessons through Microsoft Sway. I don't know how much experience you have with Sway. We didn't before 2 weeks ago.
Now we're experts.
Fun. It's a fun platform. It's an interactive platform. You can do so much. So learning the back end was a good experience for myself. But seeing them posted online, it's so interactive. So we're excited. We included some Microsoft forms in there for quizzes.
Nice.
Yes, I like the cleanup piece about art, Barb. Yes, absolutely. And then if you scroll down to, so we have all sorts of activities that are inside the lessons. And then the last one, we leave them with an on your own activity. So be a recycling researcher, go through your homes, see what items you have that you no longer are using or you've forgotten about. Can they be reused? Can they be recycled? So this is one of the more junior lessons, but it's really exciting. One of the, I don't know if it's the 4 to 6 or the 7 to 8 lesson, Nicole goes ahead and makes your own household cleaner, which is really cool, out of vinegar and oranges, white vinegar and oranges. So definitely tune in for some fun and interactive activities. They're about 20 minutes. And your students, they should be able to do them on their own if they know how to use a mouse and click on a video. So join in. And then just a couple last slides on We Teachers. I know that I presented a little bit about We Teachers a couple weeks ago with Jeff. But if you scroll to the next slide, please. Of course, We Teachers is our new no-cost program for any teacher, providing resources to support addressing critical social issues in the classroom. And like Carrie mentioned, we could never have thought that a pandemic was going to be kind of at the forefront of what we needed to provide resources for and pivot really quickly on. But where we did provide resourcing on was, of course, an overview on trauma-informed classroom, well-being and bullying, and diversity and inclusion was the last one that we just brought out. We still have to come youth violence and poverty. But the biggest one that's going to come next that kind of jumped into the queue really quickly was a pandemic, and nobody has seen it yet, and you're going to get a sneak peek in a couple slides, which is really exciting. On the next slide, it just shows you that we have a social community, so you can join us on Twitter, you can join us on Instagram at We Teachers. Educational resources, of course, we've chatted about that a lot today, and you can find them on the hub, which is the big third component of the program. Just through to the next slide is this is the homepage of our We Teachers Hub. I actually think the title slide has changed since I put through this PowerPoint, but which is really exciting. It shows you that it's changing. It's very dynamic, and we're always loading new content on there. Upcoming events. So when we did have these upcoming events during the school year, ones that you can tune into virtually, you're able to sign up right inside our We Teachers Hub. If you look at the top ribbon there, if it's a little bit clear, we have courses. So with Fairchance, if we didn't mention already, Fairchance is leading our hub with Titus and Michelle, which is incredible. With courses, they're building out LMS courses through their learning management system. So maybe you don't know what a trauma-informed approach looks like. This LMS will be able to walk you through how to talk about it and how to use the resources in your classroom. And we're looking to actually have badging associated with these courses. So if you're one of the, if you're a teacher that loves the badges in the Microsoft Educator community and loves to have them on your signature or loves to show them off, which is incredible, we're looking to badge all of our courses here as well so that you can say that you're a trauma-informed teacher, which is really, really exciting. But that's to come, so keep an eye out for that.
I love badges.
Yeah, badges are awesome. That's how you register, teachershub.we.org/register. We'll put that in the chat to make sure that it stays there. And then, yeah, please feel free to log on and to register. Eventually, all of our resources will live on the hub, all of our We Schools resources, which is really, really exciting. It'll be like your one-stop shop for all of We Schools. And it's intuitive. It's, you know, if you searched about volunteering one time, it's going to bring you up these volunteering resources. It's going to recommend volunteering resources for you. We're hoping to build out the navigation eventually to be kind of like Netflix, like here's your recommended programs, or here's what you started. Do you want to complete the course? So it's going to be very intuitive, and we're looking to build that out, to continue building it out through the summer, which is exciting. Last two slides. The next one, Martha, there is the 3 modules that we have out. We have diversity and inclusion out, just couldn't fit it on the slide. But we have these 4 out already, which are in the hub. And the next slide, no one has seen this yet. If you go down one slide, is the We Teachers Pandemic Informed Community Resource. So we, and Carrie had talked about this quite a bit as well, is that we're looking to inform the community. It's not, this resource is not just for teachers and it's not just for students. We want it to go to caregivers and parents to talk about what a pandemic is. To give you those resources, and a lot of them do come from the We Wellbeing Playbook, on how to talk to your body, your mind, your soul through all of this. We know that the anxiety is high and the stress is high, but how do we manage it ourselves so that we can help others and help our students and help our children?
I love
that is my
section 3.
That is my last slide.
The video analysis of credible sources. That's so important right now. And the Mythbusters, that's all critical for our students in terms of managing their anxiety, right?
Mm-hmm. You know, they're online. We're leaving them online. All the digital learning is online. And I know that it's supported through our younger students. But some of the older students just, here's the task and here's the project, and it's hard to know what's credible and what's not. Wikipedia is not. So we're trying to help provide you with those resources that you can walk through with your students and with your family. And we are hoping that it's going to be live by the end of the week, like Carrie said. So hopefully that's something that's going to be helpful and that you can look forward to. We'll definitely get it to you into your hands as soon as we can, Martha.
Thank you. Thanks, Amber, for taking us through. I'm just trying to read through some of the comments. I love Alana saying the content in We has been outstanding. So fun and uplifting. Finding fun right now is so important.
Yeah, it's like you've probably heard, and like a lot of people have said, the mandated an hour or whatnot for a kindergarten student isn't necessarily sitting at a table with an activity, but it's that outdoor play, it's that incorporating that fun into the day. So I don't envy anyone who has children that young. we see them all the time on our calls. We had one yesterday. There was a little 4-year-old that joined his dad on the call. It was adorable. He's like, I'm just gonna join now. So I was like, okay. So
that's cute.
Kudos to you.
Well, and kudos to the kindergarten students who still want to join video calls. I'm seeing people where the students are like, not another video call. So we have to keep that enthusiasm going.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm just wondering from your work, Jeff, are district leaders prioritizing well-being? Like, are they starting to consider, or maybe it's been part of the dialogue with respect to the remote learning strategy? Like, where does well-being sit in terms of an agenda?
So thanks for the question, Martha. So some of you may know that I had the pleasure of leading the professional learning across Canada alongside with some other WE staff. And I would say that professional learning was, well-being was a priority then, and recognizing that all of the issues that I think we identified before COVID, and really recognizing that students can't learn until they feel safe, until they're in environments that are conducive to respect, and really, I would say a deep understanding and as supported by research of understanding, the need for positive human qualities of compassion and so that what we see now, even more so now with where we are today in terms of the response to COVID, is that we're even seeing a greater need for this. And so as in my new role here with Fair Chance and talking with ministries and school boards, we're seeing that while there's this balance of trying to support teachers and the learning within classrooms, that there is a greater need to begin from a place of well-being and social emotional learning. And so the resources that I'm really quite impressed of how fast we has pivoted to provide these resources directly to schools and to parents and community, and still staying true to the values of WE in response to COVID. So to answer your question, Martha, I would say that yes, it was important, it was relevant, but even more so now as we're further away from our students, and for some, the classroom, the 6 hours they spend a day within a class is often the safest place for them. So very much so. And I was talking to a principal today, and he's concerned about his students because he hasn't had a chance to connect with them, hasn't had a chance to see how they're doing and to talk about that other piece of social emotional learning. So yes, very much so. It's very important.
Yeah. Okay, so any other thoughts? Amber, thank you again for sharing with us. And I think what we need to do at Fair Chance Learning is figure out how we can, like I said, amplify the activities that are going on through WE, and really, talk about the fact that service learning can continue, volunteering can continue, and the important dialogue of family, community, parents, teachers, students is what really matters, right? So there's such great resources there that we can pull and share, and I look forward to sharing them with our audiences and checking back in when the Minecraft stuff pops up, and tuning in. I'm definitely going to be taking those cards to our dinner table to have some more guided conversations, because I certainly don't feel like an expert. And so, looking at, I tell our kids all the time, I'm like, this is something that is the word unprecedented means that nobody has gone through this ever. As parents, we've never navigated something like this. As students and children, you've never navigated something like this. As employees, as political or appointed officials, nobody has navigated this before. So we're working together, and it's okay not to know, but it's nice to have guidance around how to have these conversations with our kids to minimize their anxiety and focus on the positive human qualities that make us all amazing. So thank you for the reminder. It was definitely a Wellness Wednesday.
Yay, thanks.